So, hello guys, and welcome to the Bench Podcast for this transfer tier list special that we're doing today, and also keeping you up to date with any transfer deadline news because obviously it's transfer deadline day, and it's
by the
not
time this
much-
comes out,
at the time of recording.
yeah, by the
at the
time this
time of
comes out, it's going to be
recording,
shut. So
at the time of
look
recording,
forward to
anyway,
that.
but the video will probably go up this week at some point. Anyway, on my right I have Ethan Cuddison,
Hello.
and then
Chris.
below I have George Bennett.
Welcome back, guys, to Benched. Looking forward to this one.
So today we're doing a transfer tier list of all the clubs, basing all their signings basically to see who we think's had a good window, who's had a bad window, and our signings that we didn't expect or ones that we did expect, and then obviously we'll just have a general chat about other stuff during the podcast as well, regarding some football results and any news that comes in at the time. So Ethan, I'll let you carry on with what you want to say about the tier list.
Okay, so to all of our listeners that we might have on just on Spotify, we'll try and give you as much audio as possible, like where we're going to put all the teams in each section. But if this will work,
Celtic have announced the signing of AC Milan's Diego Laxalt, whatever his name is.
yeah, King will be giving you the live transfers as
It's
they
on
come
loan.
in.
It's on loan.
Ethan, hang on, before we start, Ethan, I thought you weren't going for my names
What?
for the tier list.
What do you mean? Oh, you know what? I just thought because it's a bit cringy and it's a bit entertaining. By the way, guys, as you see the names, we've got transfer ballers for the top tier, wheeler dealers for the second tier. Middle is obviously average.
Mm-hmm.
Second to bottom is uninspiring, and last one is bored out. And I think we can see the teams are already going to be there. So let's start off with, I think this is Aston Villa.
No, I don't really want to talk about Villa too much. Can we just skip Villa?
No.
Let's move on. Let's come.
Yeah, we're going to skip over Villa and Spurs.
Yeah, if you, I'll take that, mate. That's fine.
We got
So at the moment, I might as well start with Villa. Well, I've got the signings up here. They signed quite a few players. To be fair to them, they got the main one's obviously Ollie Watkins from Brentford. Obviously, last night, obviously yesterday, he did very well for Villa against Liverpool, and it's early days for him, but he needs to obviously learn how to get used to the Premier League and like how to become more consistent in the Premier League. But for a game like obviously to come on the stage against Liverpool, it was a great start for him.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree.
Signings did they make? Because I'm not too familiar with all the signings they made.
They also signed, I think, Matty Cash from Nottingham Forest. He's quite a versatile player. He is.
Martinez from Arsenal.
Ross Barkley's just signed on loan from Chelsea.
I think that's a great signing for them as well, because I think, as we saw against Liverpool, I think him and Grealish kind of complement each other. It's a good midfield
combination, isn't it? They're good at creating for their strikers. So that's.
And I think they're kind of like going with the whole Man City role of having two free eights of two number eights that could just run around the pitch and create creative. So I guess we'll see how they do. But what do you think there? What position would you put them in the tier list, looking at the signings they made and the start they've had to the season?
I'd say it's hard because a lot of people probably would say. I know a lot of pundits are saying they've had a really great window. They're one of the better teams. So maybe you'd think about putting them in ballers, but I'm not sure. It's either second or first or second for me.
Yeah, well, you can get.
I'll put them in transfer ballers. I think they've had a very good window. So some good like they've strengthened every position.
Because
I'll put them in.
Put them in.
I'll put them there
first.
No, I'll put them first. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Yeah, we'll go first.
I put them first then. Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, as time goes on, we might want to change them around, comparing sort of other transfer windows other clubs have had, but
maybe the end of the season you could come back to this and then go, oh, could Villa go down or could another club go up, or it's just something to think about, isn't it? Really, but anyway, we've got Arsenal. Is it next? Arsenal, yeah.
Arsenal. So
they signed.
They've strengthened. I think the defender got that Gabriel. So I think he's decent.
It's had a really good start to the season, Gabriel has.
I'd probably say they've had an average window, really, because they've really
You what?
players.
They've mainly re-signed. They mainly re-signed all the players that had on loan last season. So Pablo Mari.
They signed Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey's just gone through it.
Just currently,
maybe put them up to wheeler dealers then.
I'd agree with that because Arsenal had a really good start to this season, and I think they'll probably take advantage of other top clubs such as City and Liverpool not being as free flowing as they were last season. Obviously had a bit of a shaky start, but I think they should take advantage of other top clubs' slow start to the season. Obviously, with the signing of Thomas Partey, I think he's one of the best defensive midfielders in world football at the moment. I think they've got a really good signing there. And
Gerard Deulofeu's moving to Udinese.
Okay, on loan or permanent?
Thanks, Jim. For me, Arsenal, there was not an amazing window. It's been pretty down low, I'd say. I mean, for me, I'd either put in wheeler dealers or average, really.
We'll go
wheeler dealers. I'll put wheeler dealers.
Yeah, they may be lacking like a star name, maybe, but do they really need a star name after?
The thing is, you say that, I don't think they need a star name. Like Aubameyang is their star name. Looking at Arsenal, as you said, I don't think they need the star names. I think the problem with clubs nowadays, they keep on going for the star names, and they don't need them. They need players that can suit the positions they need. And I think with Thomas Partey, with Gabriel, and they've signed a couple of players that had on loan last season. I think they've signed arguably the positions that are needed. You could argue they might. For me, I'm not really convinced with Bellerin. I think they could have done with another right back for me, or a proper right back. Yeah. But
the thing is, squad depth is a massive thing now. So maybe Arsenal signed a lot of players you could consider squad depth. I mean, they might, obviously a lot of Arsenal fans might think differently, but from looking at their signings so far, or what seems to be the case now, there seem to be more just building up numbers to obviously get back into Europe full time and maybe have a go at another trophy. So I'd say wheeler dealers for me personally.
Wheeler dealers and Kingy?
I'd agree. Yeah.
Okay, all good. Okay, Brighton, Hove, Albion.
Okay.
Well, they've signed, to be honest.
I could tell you, I've got Brighton up now. They've got Adam Lallana from Liverpool. I think Joel Veltman from Ajax is an interesting one because he was quite highly rated back in the day.
They've got a couple of decent players, and so
they signed Lars Dendoncker. I think it's related to Leander Dendoncker from Wolves, but he's on a free. I mean, not a lot. Those names really don't stand out for me. I mean, obviously Lallana would for me because he's former Liverpool, obviously, and Veltman obviously. Was past. He could have been quite a good defender back in the day, but it's been, I don't know, I'd say not that exciting really at Brighton.
Yeah, I think the signing of Ben White, I think like keeping Ben White is a signing for me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
and I think I wouldn't say average. I'd say uninspiring. I think in a club with Brighton's position. They could have done more. So I mean, uninspiring.
I mean, I'm looking at some of their outs as well. This obviously saw Anthony Knockaert, who was quite a big player for them in the Championship days, and Glenn Murray's obviously left to Watford. But obviously, have they really replaced him? I mean, from the looks of it, from looking at the transfers they've got so far, probably not.
You've got to look at it. They've got a good net spend. So they're that means obviously they're taking in more than they're bringing out, really. So they did have money to spend. Yeah. So, which is kind of a bit disappointing, where you could have maybe signed like a hidden gem, or probably a player that in the Championship that might have been a bit cheaper. But for me, I'd say uninspiring. What are you, Kingy?
I'd say average. I think they've had a decent window.
Why? Yeah, who pops out to you?
I don't know. I just think they've signed some decent players for their level of the team. So I think that they'll fit in all right. I think that's been an average window for them.
No, I'd say a lot better.
Comparing to for Brighton standard, I can see why you're saying average, but comparing to the teams that we're going to be looking at in the future,
exactly.
I'd say uninspiring.
I mean, it tells more of Brighton's key players are already at the club. I mean, they've got Tyreek Lamptey, who had a good second half.
He's 16.
Yeah, I know. He's been doing really well for them.
16? Who was 18?
No, 16.
Be careful about
that. So, obviously him, and then there's Ben White, Ethan mentioned earlier on, and that's their main players who can do a job for them. Obviously, the window's not been exciting, but the players they've currently got can obviously excite the fans more, maybe.
Yeah, 20. All right, we'll put them there.
Yes, it's possible.
He's 20. Lamptey.
Oh dear.
I thought he was 16. I swear someone said he was 16.
Nah, I got you there, mate. I'm not even that. Oh, no. But yeah, uninspiring. Sorry, Gengi, but we're inspired.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about uninspiring, you put Burnley.
Oh God! I'm looking at their transfers now, and it's shocking.
Who have this on? I've just on 2 players.
Oh dear.
I mean, the son of Wolves backup. Well, he's not even a backup keeper at Wolves. He's like third or fourth
choice.
And then Dale Stevens from Brighton, he's a typical Burnley signing, isn't he? Really.
That's for me.
Bored
out. Yeah. I mean, their squad's quite. It's obviously composed of mostly English players, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
But then that's why Burnley will never really achieve it. They'll just hover around mid-table to bottom half because they don't want to change the system. They just want to play just typical like Route 1 basic football.
Oh, West Brom football.
It's just I just don't see a future for Burnley really. I mean, there'll come a point eventually where I think Burnley will struggle playing this kind of football, and ultimately they'll get relegated. So there's not really a lot you can say about Burnley really.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame for Burnley probably just to add a little bit more, because I know that West Ham, either West Ham or Leicester are in for James Tarkowski, 40 mil.
Yeah, he's been linked to quite a lot.
And they rejected 40 mil. And I look at that 40 mil, and they could have reinvested it. Exactly, and they could have reinvested that 40 mil plus obviously the money that might have earned last season.
I mean, don't get it wrong. Tarkowski is a good centre half, I agree, but
he's replaceable for me.
Replacing. But anyway, put Board out for them. We got probably.
Not saying the Board should go, but.
Burnley fans I don't want to say Burnley fans are that bothered at the moment by how they play, but I mean, there'll come a point where they've surely got to want to see some sort of change. I mean, players like Dwight McNeil's not going to stay forever, is he, at Burnley, wanting to play that sort of just turgid, boring football? I mean, what future is there for that?
Exactly. And they do have some good players. Like they've got,
yeah, definitely.
Tarkowski, as you said, they've got Dwight McNeil, who I'm a big fan of. They could have sold again, but sort of kept him. But yeah, lower mid-table for me. Maybe relegation, but we'll see. But yeah.
So now we move on to Chelsea, who complete opposite of Burnley. Obviously, there's pretty much the most money out of everyone in this window, signing quite a lot of players.
222 million this season.
Jeez, man.
Obviously,
considering the pandemic as well. quite surprising.
It's not for me because they didn't spend anything last season, and they might had some big sales last season, so their next spend is probably like 0.
Yeah, that's kind of true. Yeah, that makes sense. Obviously, from the Hazard sale and the transfer ban, it's giving them a lot of money to play around with. So, that's something.
Yeah,
it's been I suppose it's been a decent window. I mean, they've brought Chilwell. They've got a supposedly better goalkeeper. That probably is a better goalkeeper than Kepa, but I still think defensively they're still quite weak because I think Thiago Silva's a decent centre half. The rest of their defence, like it's not brilliant. It's just average, and everyone goes on about Reece James. Like he's average. He's not really much better than that. So,
controversial opinion. Chelsea fans are probably discussing that.
What's he done? Does he go and score amazing goals like Trent? No. Does he? Has he got the defensive qualities of Wan-Bissaka? No.
It's not label. No, but it's just with. Are we just coming? I'll obviously have a little chat about it, but I'll become to terms now that right backs are mainly thought of being attacking than defending now. Are we actually coming to terms about that?
I'd say so. Yeah, it's an old system. Defensive fullbacks. It's a bit negative. I mean, I understand why you might have it because obviously it helps for for a defensive side, or maybe a team wants to play on the counter. But for a team, really, most like title winning teams or like Champions League winning teams are built on more like attacking fullbacks. If you think about it, like Bayern Munich last season, they had players like Alphonso Davies, who's to me an attacking fullback.
Let's get back to the thing. I'll put Chelsea as wheeler dealers.
Wheeler dealers?
No, I'd say ballers. They've plugged, other than defence, they've plugged all the holes, all the gaps in.
You know what, Kingy? I'll agree with you there.
Exactly. You George, you just contradict yourself there because they said they haven't really rectified all the defence. They haven't. So then
the reason why I say that was I was under the impression that they keep Malang Sarr because I thought he'd have played more of an important role for Chelsea this season, but they've loaned him out, which is a bit strange. I'd have thought he'd have been given the chance, but
the signings I think the signings they've made, like we kind of touched on it a bit earlier. For me, they're just a lot of star names. They're not really plugging the holes that are needed in the squad. Like they've got Havertz and they've got
Werner.
And Lampard's playing them all out of position.
I know, yeah.
He doesn't fit in the system.
Has he played Werner on the wing and what?
Yeah, he plays Werner on the wing, like Havertz in midfield or on the wing, and they just don't complement the team in itself. Like
I don't know why he perseveres at Tammy Abraham up front because he can't finish.
Yeah, because like with Havertz, for me, his best time was he had at Leverkusen. He was kind of like that second striker. That remember how like Dele Alli used to be when he first came at Spurs. Like he would sit just behind Harry Kane, and he would like bomb on and like get some goals for.
Yeah, okay,
Spurs, but that's the way I see Havertz. But obviously, we spoke about it in a past podcast with how we thought they fit in, but Lampard hasn't really done it. But
he's not listened to us. I mean,
yeah, he needs to watch a bunch of podcasts for me.
Oh yeah, come on.
Let's just put them at where it is because we've got a lot of teams to get through.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, it's 2v1. Yeah, you might as well put them in there.
Okay.
It's wheeler dealers for Chelsea then.
Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace. They've only signed 2 players, and one of them's obviously one of the best players in the Championship last season. It was Eberechi Eze. Yeah, he was very good for QPR last season. And then from West Brom as well. But that's not a lot going on at Palace, really.
I think it's an average.
Just average.
Yeah, I think it's an average window. I think obviously keeping Wilfried Zaha for another summer if he wants to leave, for me is
it's a big thing
for him in itself. but average.
They never signed a striker, did they? They've never had like a proper.
I know Jordan Batshuayi on loan as well.
Oh yeah, that was missing on the one I'm on. But they're not really like other than Batshuayi really. I mean, IU did okay last season, but they've still got Christian Benteke. I mean,
they got rid of Soroff. He was like absolutely banging the goals last season. Probably wanted to leave at the end of the day, but I would try my best to keep him. Like probably just I might have offered him like a big contract.
Well, at least give him a chance pre-season, see where he would go from there. But that's true.
Who knows?
Yeah, I think
average window. Yeah, nothing spectacular from them.
Who's next?
It's not in alphabetical. I tried to do it in alphabetical order, but this is Southampton. I think the file names kind of got mixed up, but this is how Southampton. Do you want to leave it so is alphabetical order, or do you just want to do Southampton next?
Would next be Everton? Everton's next, isn't it? Yeah. Alphabetically.
Yeah, do alphabetically then.
I'm not going to lie. I would put them in ballers. I mean, and it's shown as well at the start of the season.
They're having honestly, I can't wait for Liverpool Everton. That game. Because obviously we're not going to speak about the weekend and the results on that weekend, but after the showing in that game, I think Everton have got a thing to say about to Liverpool.
We'll see. Anyway,
their signings have gelled.
Anyway, we'll go through them. Obviously, they've signed four big players. Obviously, they've signed Allen from Napoli, who's a brilliant holding midfielder. He's good at tackling. His passing's good as well. I mean, he's quite good. He's quite all round, to be fair.
Yeah.
Obviously, the big ones, James Rodriguez, based on name value and of quality as well. He's won more or less everything at Real Madrid. Doucouré from Watford, another solid player to add to the midfield, and then. Last but not least, they signed Ben Godfrey recently, didn't they? From
today. I think
he'll be a decent signing.
I think what and like I kind of hold my hands up and apologise to Everton because I've said in past episodes that he's past it, but I think he's got his signing spot on. Like to have players that know the Premier League and with Doucouré and Godfrey. And plus, with two star signings that he's worked with in the past and had the best out of them with Alan and Rodriguez, there's no period in the team where they have to kind of like ease in, like that. Everyone knows what to do, and I think that's why they've done so well at the start of the season. Obviously, go on.
But I think Everton have a good window. I think if they keep their form up, I think they could possibly challenge, I'd say, for top four.
Me possibly. Too, yeah. I think it's wide open for them, honestly. Honestly.
I think it's too early to say whether they get top four or not because it's only been like 4 or 5 games.
I think they've got a chance because
essentially if they keep going on, definitely.
Yeah, because all the teams they're weak at the moment and they're inconsistent. I think the lack of pre-season has hit the top teams, and I think teams that were out of the top 4, like Arsenal, like Spurs, like Everton, they can take advantage of the lack of pre-season for the top clubs. So
maybe not Spurs as much because they've been obviously they've had their European qualifying games recently as well. Yeah. So they've had quite a few games, but that they would probably want to struggle.
Spanked us.
No, of course. We'll get on to Man United. I'm sure you'll want to have your little like rant as well later on. I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
But Everton, I'd say I'd say ballers. They're on a brilliant window on their standards. It's pretty, for me personally. I think it's the best Everton team I've seen in my lifetime by a mile.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
That's not saying a lot really, but yeah, it is. It's a promising start for them.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I agree.
Leicester's next. Oh, no, Fulham. Sorry, Fulham's next.
Fulham.
I think we should leave that one to Kingy. He's quite passionate about Fulham, aren't you, Kingy?
I saw that they've got. To be fair, Fulham. I watched them against Wolves yesterday, especially second half, and I think Alfonso Areola. I think he's a really good goalkeeper. He's safe. He made two double saves.
Yeah, got some breaking news.
What?
Edison Cavani's been announced for Manchester United. Deal done.
Oh, good.
Leave that now to the Man United.
I'm trying to talk about Fulham. But, basically, I think Alphonse Areola is a very good signing for a club like Fulham. Not really expected, and he's played. You got goalkeepers played in the Champions League, and he's got potential as well. So I think, great signing for them. They got that Robinson from Wigan as well. So that'll be a decent signing. But the rest of the defence...
Just quickly, fun fact on him, he was close to going to AC Milan in January this year, but they pulled out for some bizarre reason. But
he failed the medical.
Oh, did he? Oh, that's what... Okay, interesting.
But anyway, going back to what I was saying, but obviously defensively they haven't addressed the problems really. They've still got, poor defenders really. The rest of the team defensively is pretty poor. But they've got some good players. They've got Adam Lookman. I think he's the way when he come on yesterday, he caused Wolves a lot of problems. So that'll be a good loan signing. Did they sign Cavallero permanently this summer? I think they did.
No, he was already there, wasn't he? I'm pretty sure they already signed him.
I think
he was already there.
Oh,
they've signed Knockout. They've signed Mario Lemina, Kenny Tete from.
That's what I mean. So Fulham, if they can. In January, if they're not too far adrift, if they can get some centre halves, I think they might have a chance of having a half decent season. But they've got to start getting some wins. But defensively, they're not very good. So I'd put them in average.
I would too. Yeah, I was about to say that. To be fair, I'd put them in average.
Yeah, definitely.
Hi guys, welcome back to the second part of our transfer tier list. Also, we've done mainly the first half of the Premier League already, so we're going to continue on as we were into the second half and believe the next club is Liverpool.
Leicester. I thought it was Leicester next.
Okay, well, we'll go Leicester.
It doesn't matter either way, but
we'll go Leicester then. I think Leicester have had a decent transfer window. I think they've signed some good players. They've got that left back. What's he called? The sign.
Timothy Castagna from Atalanta.
So he's had a great start. He's
really well.
Did they sign Fofana as well?
Wesley Fofana from St Etienne and Cengiz there from Roma.
So they've bought some pretty for some decent teams that have had good seasons the last few years. So I think Leicester potentially. I know they had a bit of a poor result the other day, but hopefully those signings will do well for them. And I can see Leicester being challenging again for Europe this season. So
definitely,
it's just about consistency, really. But if I had to put them in I'll put them in Wheeler Dealers. Actually, I think they've had a decent window, some good signings. They haven't paid over too much money for them, and they've got potential to fit in nicely.
Go on, Ben. I think agree with that. I think they've kept their key players. And they've improved the positions that were needed. So I completely agree with you there, Kingy.
Yeah.
For me with Leicester.
There's not a lot you can say about Leicester, really. They've made some solid signings, but nothing spectacular. But they've been good signings.
So is it Leeds next?
Yeah, it would be Leeds, yeah.
Leeds.
Yeah.
I think Leeds have had a good window. Very good window.
I don't
they
know,
got Rodrigo from Valencia.
Yeah.
Did they get Click as well? Is he a new signing?
No, he was there last season. They signed Diego Llorente from Real Sociedad. They signed Robin from Freiburg. They've signed Helder Costa permanently from Wolves now.
Solier as well.
They're also in talks with Rafinha from Rennes.
That deal's been going on all day. I'm surprised he hasn't gone through properly.
And
I think it will.
There was rumours about Daniel James as well, but that seems
Man United cut that off. I think they were in from on the weekend. They're offering big money for him, which I'm really surprised that we didn't accept. It was obviously we didn't get a right winger through, but
I think even for Leeds, to be fair, but I mean that's
I don't know why we didn't accept it, but probably because we were probably direct rivals. Well, we are a direct rival to them. So, yeah.
I think Leeds really, from coming back to the Premier League, I think the window's been, I'd say, average. Really, there's not been loads of star names really coming in, but I mean, the amount where we need them because the team was so good that as they got promoted last season, they needed a replacement for Ben White, and they've obviously signed Koch and Llorente. Yeah.
Careful there.
Yeah, maybe they could have done maybe another standout signing to see them over, but maybe they've upset the squad if they'd signed a huge name. But
so I say average.
Yeah, it's an average window.
Average. Yeah,
I'd agree.
Well, if they do sign Rafinha, would it go to really dealers or stay average for you?
No, I'd say average for me.
Yeah, I'd probably say average. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, Bennett, your team. Knock yourself out.
For a very long time now, obviously Kostas Tsimikas was Liverpool's only signing, and that probably would have put it to uninspiring, I'd have said. But in the last, obviously since the last podcast, we've now signed 2 players. Obviously, Thiago finally signed after a long time, and we also got we were originally linked with Ismail Assar from Watford, but we got Jota from Wolves instead. So
yeah, good signing.
It's an interesting signing. I mean, he's only played he's played a few games recently. He scored against Arsenal when he came on, and I think from our window, I think it's been I'd say it's a very good window for us.
I'd say transfer ballers for you.
Yeah, I would as well. I mean, Thiago was the main man we wanted all summer. Obviously, if you've seen his stats from last season in the Bundesliga and the Champions League, it's better than any of the Liverpool's midfielders in most areas, except for, I think, for tackling, really.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, it's decent.
I think I put my hands up. I got it wrong. I thought it was coming to United, and I was really disappointed it didn't come to United. I put my hands up. But honestly, Bennett, I think you've got one of the top 5 best central midfielders in world football at the moment.
I'm pretty sure Thiago's like the first player we've ever signed who's world class. Developed currently. Other than that, we've either signed a lot of potential or past it players. But he's the only one I think we've signed who's currently world class now.
And I think the sales that you've done, you've made some decent money with Ryan Brewster selling him for 23 mil, but you've got option to buy their Lovren for 10 mil for God's sake. And
on that one, I'll tell you what.
And who's Laria to Reading for 3 mil?
I think he was on loan for a permanent deal. I think he was last season.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah. But yeah, I'd say transfer ballers for you lot, because I did have my reservations about Liverpool this season. I didn't think they had money to spend, and obviously they were willing to spend the cash, and they got minus net spend. But they've signed players that make them different from last season, which other teams haven't done. So I would put them towards the top.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah. There's one. I've discovered one issue. We probably should have loaned out Adrian after yesterday's performance. That was
Hello, you should have terminated his contract.
Yeah. Well, that's any bit of bad transfer business we've done, not releasing Adrian. Yeah. Sorry, Adrian. Next up is Man City. I'd say underwhelming for City, personally. Uninspiring.
No.
It's uninspiring.
Good window.
What do you mean?
They've got Ruben Diaz, centre half, good partner for Laporte. They got Ferran Torres is a decent player.
That's potential. Though.
Ake's not too bad, so I think it's an average window for them.
No, they need long for me for Aguero and Silva.
Yeah, I think it's uninspiring. But
I mean, Diaz is highly rated, definitely. I've used him on Football Manager, and he's brilliant. And,
oh yeah.
That's the barometer for good footballers. If they're good on Football Manager, and he's good for me. So.
If Football Manager wants to sponsor the podcast, go ahead.
Miles Jacobson, could you come on the podcast, please? Thank you.
Average.
I'd say uninspiring, really. I mean,
I'd agree with Bennett here.
Oh,
I really do.
2-1.
No, because with City, like with Diaz and Ake, like the holes that they had are in defence, and with Ake, I've always said he's a backup player, and he probably will be. Diaz, to be, we'll see how he does this season, but I think they needed a signing that they know for certain that's going to do good. Like how Van Dijk, when he first signed for Liverpool, they knew he was going to automatically be a great signing for Liverpool. With Diaz, it could be a flop. What if he's like Otamendi? What if he's like Mangala?
He's potential, Diaz. He's got high potential, but at the end of the day, he's just potential at the moment.
I mean, Ferran Torres, he's just another backup player for me.
Unproven,
he's replacing Sane. He was a bench player for City.
But I'll put them on the spot.
I don't know how they'd let Sane go. I know he wanted to leave, but that he was a brilliant player for Man City.
I see why you say average Kingy, but I'm not really convinced with City.
I mean, you look on the bright side. Bravo and Otamendi have both gone. I mean, they're both terrible. So that's good for them, isn't it?
Yeah. We'll go to Man United. I'll say first. I was going to say uninspiring, but I'm going to put them as average.
No.
Ethan's completely negative, and he says,
"Carry on. I'm
going to put average because they got. I think Donny van der Beek's a good signing. Alex Telles is good left back as well, so that's a good signing. Cavani, don't know, I'm not sure, but he should still. I think he's still got maybe a year or two left in him. So yeah, not too bad. And obviously, it's a bit annoying that we've signed that Oman Traore, but we're not going to get until January, which I don't really understand. So, but that's the way it is. So that's life. But if it wasn't for today, I would have gone average. But I would have gone uninspiring or bored out. But I want to put average.
What are you going?
I would. I know what you're going to say, Ethan, straight away because you've told me in the past, well, in the last few days, really. I'd say uninspiring. You needed two players desperately, and that was a solid centre back and that attacking player that you needed, not the winger that you needed, and you haven't got that really, and that's why it's uninspiring. Obviously, you've signed decent players, but they're not the players that you needed really. Like Van der Beek's good, but you didn't really need a midfielder because your midfield's probably one of the best positions at your team.
I think I'm going to agree with inspiring. I think for me, the only reason I'm not saying balled out is the signing of Telles for me. I think if we didn't get Telles was like the most straightforward deal I've ever seen in the history of Manchester United, but the fact that we have Jadon Sancho who wants to come to United, and for 100%, he wants to come to United. Purse terms were agreed and everything. It was just that Man United didn't want to splash out the cash for 108 mil, and then we gave them an offer for 75 mil, and then we ended up signing some. How old is he? 18-year-old for 30 mil. So the difference between what we wanted for Jadon Sancho, like I put my hands up. With Traore, people are saying that he's one of the biggest talents that coming out of Syria, and who knows what he could be. But I think we've signed another Uruguayan winger, Palestri, who's going to be confirmed later on, and they're saying that them two could compete for first team spots. So I don't know, but for me it's inspiring. I'm so close to bored out.
The signing, those two signings remind me a lot of Liverpool signings back in like the Brendan Rodgers era, where
it really is. No, it is
potential.
It is, but just put it on inspiring then.
Yeah, we'll stick with inspiring.
If we move on this one, because I was going to
get right
next.
Newcastle. They've had an interesting window, I think. They've obviously, it'd have been a lot better if they'd have had the takeover, but
they've still got some good players. Callum Wilson, good signing.
Jamal Lewis, what
Great signing
wants
for them.
Liverpool, but yeah, he'll do well at Newcastle.
Good
Ryan Fraser,
signing.
free transfer as well. That's quite a good deal as well.
Yeah,
say-
I think I want to go with Wheeler Dealers actually for them. Good,
Yeah, I'd
good
agree.
window.
Me too, you know. I do agree with you there.
Yeah, good window.
Interesting.
So who's next? Southampton.
Now
Sheffield United.
Oh, poor, uninspiring.
There's a few like interesting deals they've made. I mean, Ryan Bruce is obviously going to be an interesting one if he hits the ground running at Sheffield United.
He did really well at Swansea last season.
He had a good spell at Swansea, yeah, definitely. Aaron Ramsdale from Bournemouth. He's probably one of Bournemouth's better players last season when they went down. Ethan Ampadu's a solid defender as well from Chelsea on loan.
Maybe average then, just put average. I'd say average then because they've signed a few decent players, but I think they needed more.
They're quite young, yeah, but yeah, I'd probably go average.
I think the players that they've signed, like, they're going to fit the Sheffield United system that that they've got. So, yeah, I'd say average.
Okay. Next up is Southampton now. They've signed a lot of players for a lot of money, but well, not a lot of money, but they're not really well known, are they?
Yeah.
Cole Walker-Peters is the only one that you could recognise there. Salisu from Real Valladolid, he's supposed to be quite highly rated as a defender, but it's too early to tell really at this stage. I don't think he's played too much yet for Southampton, so I'd say maybe inspiring.
Yeah, I think they could have. With Southampton, they've done a really big past of selling that players that they've had in like top players to bigger clubs like in Højbjerg and like to Spurs, for example. And they kind of replace them with hidden gems, and I don't know if their probably recruitment changed it recently, but I just don't get the feeling from the signings that they've made, like some hidden gems. But obviously, we'll see in the future.
I think they are doing what they used to do in the past, obviously looking for those hidden gems, but they're not. Obviously, we're looking at them as players who aren't that good, but we don't know really. I mean, I'd say at the moment uninspiring, but
yeah, it's the same.
Who knows? Yeah. Who knows in the future? Who knows?
Okay, Spurs.
Good window.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, they've had a decent window actually.
Bale,
Bale return, Reguilon,
Vinicius.
Matt Doherty from Wolves, very good.
I'd say ballers, you know.
No, we're the dealers.
I'd say ballers, you know.
What makes you think ballers, or what makes you think wheeler dealers?
Because I'd say wheeler dealers because centre halves they needed centre halves because defensively they're still poor. I think although they got Alderweireld, not bad. I don't rate Eric Dyer. I don't rate Jan Vertonghen anymore. I don't rate Davison Sanchez.
Vertonghen's left.
Okay, well, Vertonghen's left. But Sanchez and Dyer are two not great, so they needed someone to be alongside.
But look at it here, though, Kingy. Have they had a better window than Newcastle?
Yeah.
Have they had a better window than Arsenal?
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe we're the dealers then.
Okay. Which one?
You mean ballers?
Yeah.
You mean ballers? Yeah.
Ballers, then.
Yeah, I think
it's like
decent.
With Daniel Levy's history of like not splashing out the cash, you gotta be fair to him. He splashed out the cash this season. I think he's done well according to looking at Spurs, but yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been decent for them. Okay, West Brom.
I'd say
West Brom.
They're relying on a 36-year-old Branislav Ivanovic to keep them in the division with his defensive quality. I mean,
very poor, very very poor. Yeah, I think it's just a one-way ticket for West Brom, unfortunately, this year.
They're down.
The only good deal I can see there is getting Pereira on a permanent deal. He was really good for them last season, but other than that, really.
They'll probably be gone by the end of the year.
Maybe Grady might be quite good, but that's about it, really.
If he has a good season, West Brom will go down, and then he'll leave. Then he'll leave to a bigger club. So I think it's just
a win for him, but not for West
day.
Brom. Yeah, well.
Yeah, definitely bored out low tier.
Yeah, definitely.
West Ham.
I said bored out there as well. The thing is, though, to be fair,
fans love the board out.
The thing is, though, you say that though, West Ham have actually had some good form recently.
Well,
the last two. For them, it's brilliant, but signings wise, it's been pretty bad. Yeah, the Souček, obviously they got him in permanently, and they've signed Vladimir Kufal from Slavia Prague. They've signed 2 players from Slavia Prague. What's going on there?
He's probably his best mate at the other day, and he wanted someone to talk to.
Get him a reference to the
Souček. Souček on a permanent as well.
Yeah, Felipe Anderson's just gone line to Porto as well.
Yeah.
Has he?
Yeah.
Big news, big transfer news. Jim White. But yeah, not the best.
Jack Wilshere's left as well. His contract's
terminated.
But anyway,
that club is in a state. We'll see.
I'll say Bulldogs.
And then we go with Wolves. I'll say Wolves first. I want to go average.
Yeah,
because
I'd go with inspiring. If I'm being honest.
No.
I don't know about that.
Average. They've signed some few decent players. They've got good talented left back from today. They signed that Nuri, who's apparently very talented left back, 18 years old. Semedo, I think it's a good replacement for Doherty. He played well yesterday. Got potential. I think also got Fabio Silva potential. Patinia has got potential as well.
Kingy, that's it. Kingy.
I disagree completely. I'm going to say this now. I think Wolves team's weaker than it was last season.
I'd agree, but I think they haven't lost anyone. Like
they lost Jota, then replaced him.
For me, Jota was coming off. Tell me if I'm wrong, Wolves fans, and probably tell me in the comments if you disagree with me.
Jota wasn't doing anything for Wolves.
Yeah, Jota was for me. Jota was a bench player for him towards the end of last season.
He was.
I don't think
maybe Neto has stepped up, to be fair to him, but you think they're trying to replace him with the money they've got for him?
Well, looking at their net spend, they've got a -2 net spend.
They've got Fabio Silva, they've got Traore, they've got
Neto, 34 million for an 18-year-old.
But he's got his potential, and it's a statement of intent to spend money. So
massive risk. That's what I think it is, but it's
sometimes risk. Sometimes the risk.
It's not average.
I'm gonna go with Kingy.
Thank you.
I think
I'd say it's average. It's not for me. They've had a better window than the people below them, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
just to clarify, just to go over it. So in board out, we've got Burnley, West Ham, and West Brom. In uninspiring, got Brighton, Tottenham Hotspur, Man City. Am I lagging for you, lot?
Man United.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll cut that bit out and maybe start and redo it again, I'd say.
Okay, so can you do it? Yeah, just you do it for me.
I'll say basically, for board out, we've got Burnley, West Brom, West Ham. Basically, we just think they've had a really poor windows and just not signed anyone that's going to help them mainly this season. And only, you can't rely on one addition. We've got Brighton, Fulham, Man City, Southampton, and Manchester United and uninspiring. I think, they've signed a few players, but I think, is it what they would have wanted? I think they would have maybe wanted to strengthen more positions in their roster, basically, because obviously, it's important to identify targets, and Man United haven't really got them. I think City would have looked to replace a few players as well. Defensively, yeah, but overall, they haven't replaced all the positions. Average, I think we've got Crystal Palace, we have Leeds, Sheffield United, and Wolves, who have had an average window, so they've had decent. They've got rid of a few players, but they've replaced mainly most of their positions. But some of their signings are unproven, so we're a bit on the fence of what to say. But they've got potential, or they've got potential to become better, or we see maybe they could improve the team. We're the dealers. We've got Newcastle, Arsenal. Is that Chelsea?
Chelsea
and Leicester. We feel they've had a good window. Newcastle obviously have signed some good players. Arsenal have bought some good players and strengthened well. The positions are needed. Chelsea have obviously spent a lot of money, but obviously it's probably going to help them in the future because obviously they've bought a much better goalkeeper. Defence is a little bit better. Attack, they've got a very good attack. Leicester, I know they didn't play very well yesterday, but I think for the rest of the season they've got a good squad. Consistent. It's pretty consistent as well. They've replaced the players that have left, so basically, they're not suffering from someone leaving too badly. Then we've got transfer ballers. We've got Aston Villa. Very good window for them. They look a really good side. Possibly, if they continue this form, they could challenge for top 10. Everton.
Yeah.
There's a good window for Everton. They've got a very good manager, Carlo Ancelotti. The players are gelling well, and if in the next 10 games they can continue this form, we could maybe put them as definite top 4 contenders, and maybe title challengers. But it's very early days yet. Liverpool obviously had a good window. Signed Thiago, very good centre midfielder, probably one of the best in the world. Jota seems to have new lease of life for him since he's come to Liverpool. He's and also been played pretty regularly. And obviously they've also got good cover as well for Robert Tsimikas, who's obviously got potential to learn and improve. Great. And then finally we're going to go with Spurs in the transfer ballers. I personally don't agree with obviously Ethan and George. I put them in there. They obviously have signed some good players. They've got good improved their fullbacks, which is what they need to improve. And also Gareth Bale, maybe a few other signings coming in as well.
I just think Bale, Kane and Son as a strike 3 might be quite impressive for Spurs, and it could get them to where they want to be this season.
Potentially, yeah, that's true. But that's it. So that's my personal opinion. I don't know if you want to add anything.
No, I think we've covered it all, really, to be fair. Yeah, obviously. Other than Wolves, really, I think I agree with all of it, really. But
I think
his opinion, isn't it, really, at the end of the day?
Definitely, I think we've probably come to a good conclusion there. If you want to say in the comments, guys, who you changed in that tier list, and just let us know in the comments. Please like and subscribe. And Kingy, do you want to close us off?
Yeah, well, I'll give you one little bit of last transfer information.
Okay.
We're expecting very soon Leeds fans. Rafinha is expected to be announced very soon. So obviously Leeds, really good player signing, and I think Leeds, obviously the way they've started this season, could really have a good season, and potentially, I'm going to say, I think I could see them finishing ahead of Man United and Wolves. I really could, because the way we are at the moment is very poor. So it's been a good start for them, and obviously a good signing there. He's got potential, and I think he had a very good season last season. So he's working with Bielsa as well, very good coach. So so that's the last bit of transfer news for me. And that'll probably round off this podcast. Sorry we had to split it into 2 parts. We usually have to do, but obviously we don't want to rush things, and it's best to just because have a good debate about it. And we've had a good debate. We've had a few discussions and disagreements, but ultimately, if it's 2-1, that's what we have to do, unfortunately. But yeah, it's been a good podcast. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. It's goodbye from George.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.
It's also goodbye from Ethan.
Bye. I'm fuming.
Ethan's fuming. Obviously about Man United, and I have reason to agree with him. But I'm a bit happier than I was 24 hours ago, but still not very happy. But yeah, so like and subscribe, share the video when it goes out. Hopefully it'll be out in the next couple of days. And so all the best, and we'll see you in the next podcast.
See you later.
Take care. Goodbye.
Bye.
Good evening, everybody. A pleasure and a privilege, as always, to be at Anfield, where we are hoping for another miracle like Istanbul. Shaqiri in his own half, rolls it square towards Matip.